Hey, this is Daniel from the blue corner.
And John from the red corner.
And today we are going to talk about our most played games in January. And by most, I mean all of them. We probably don't play games more than once anyways. So this is just a list of every game we played in January. We're doing this instead of our regular scheduled programming because the other two guys are kind of going through some stuff right now. So we wanted to kind of still produce something, get it out there. So this is the substitute for that.
I don't know why you're making excuses for what is going to be an excellent video and something worth watching.
Oh, 100%. I'm just saying that this is going to be released instead of the other
in lieu
episode.
of the regular.
Yeah, we're going to call this Across the Board.
There we go.
Whenever you see two of us, I'm going to call it Across the Board.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah, okay. So when we talk about these games, we're also going to talk about our Play Shelf Trade of this. If you haven't watched any of our other shows, Play Shelf Trade is where we present 3 games and we say which one we would want to play, which one we will shelf, and which one we're going to trade. In this regard, though, we are just going to talk about a game and we're going to say, I want to play that game, John, that you're talking about, or no, I don't have any interest in it. It's a trade. So it's essentially a 1 through 3 rating.
So every game could be a play. Every game could be a trade. Unlike when we play Shelf Trade.
Exactly.
So that'd be the big difference.
That's right. It's just Play Shelf Trade has become our around-the-board trademarked rating system. It's not really trademarked because other people do it too, but this is what we do. So, all right, we'll just jump into it.
Let's do.
All right. My first game I'm going to talk about is Revive. Played this at the beginning of the month with our friend Robert Searing, and it was a great experience. I absolutely adored this game. John did not write it down, so he didn't play it, but he was there. Because if it's not in PG stats, it didn't exist.
I don't know how this happened.
But it was this great game with some exploration. You also had a lot of engine building when it came to buying or recruiting people into your hand. And the people, you would either take top actions or bottom actions, and you had 4 slots where you could play them. By playing them, you're able to move your guy on the map, place out new settlements. You are allowed to move up on the little track that essentially unlocks some technology. There's just so much fun things going on in this game. I remember the whole time playing it, I was thinking, Chris is going to hate this game.
Oh, really?
Because there's so much.
He doesn't like
there's
games with that much going on?
No. And there's 2 little player boards off to the side.
Yes.
And then there's the one main board in the middle. And it's it's all over the place, but it is fun. Everything you do is important, and everything you do is exciting as well. Mm-hmm. And it's not like some of our criticism where it's like whatever you do gives you points. This one was just you got to do something fun, but it wasn't necessarily beneficial. So I like that. That's a good distinction between those games.
What I remember that game is you had to kind of be careful what you did because you could set somebody else up for a scoring opportunity on the main board, as I recall. If you explored something, then you give them a chance to sneak in there and take what you were planning on taking. So there was a lot of good, not a hard game to, how do you do that? Not a hard game to learn, really. Just there was a lot of things going on that you're trying to work together for you. So
it was a hard game to puzzly. It was a hard game to explain though. It was a long teach. It was a long teach. There was a lot of stuff, but it clicked and it all fit well together. Again, my definition of what a fun game is. So that was Revive. It's definitely it's actually a shelf for me. I'm gonna pick this one.
You're already saying shelf.
Yes, it went onto my list of games I must own. So
it's a play for me. I'm gonna want to play it again. Play it a couple more times probably before I would say shelf on it. And I'm anxious to hear what else we played that night because I don't think I have any of those logged for whatever reason. So that's odd. Mine I have on there first up is Bad Company, which we've talked about on the show. How about that? And I'm sure I had an amazing time playing Bad Company because I play it all the time. I think one of the things I say is one of the best abilities of a game is playability, and playability is what Bad Company has in spades. It's easy to play, easy to teach. I've had it. It's my most loaned out game of the year so far because people have asked to borrow it because they don't want to buy it. The $55 plus. Once they see it online, they're like, "Can I just borrow yours?"
Just wait till it goes $2 on sale at Miniature Market for $2.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's too good a game. Too good a game. But Bad Company is it's a shelf for me because I got to have it because people are borrowing it for one thing, and it gets played a lot. So
it's definitely a trade for me.
What?
Our episode was called Bad Company or Bad Game because the company we played it in was just horrific. It was amongst us friends, and it was the worst teach ever. But I was terrible. Like, John, for your sake, I'm going to play this again. I'm going to give it another try.
And it wasn't much better.
And it wasn't much better. So I still did not enjoy it. So I gave it a fair shake.
Okay.
But it's out of there for me.
All right.
All right. Well, my next game is Mycelia. I've talked a lot about this game already, but essentially it's a legacy game I've been playing with my family. It's polyominoes that you're putting on the board, trying to fill up the board and build up your city. The winner gets some bonuses, the loser gets extra bonuses, and you play over I think 24 chapters, and whoever has the most glory points, essentially, something like that, at the end gets to win it all. But this has been a great game, plays quickly, and my 8-year-old's been playing it, and me and my wife and my 11-year-old, so everybody has enjoyed it. This is definitely a shelf for me. I actually even bought My Island, which is the follow-up, so definitely a shelf, to the point where I bought another game before I even finished this game. Shocker.
That's true. Yeah, there's a shocker. That's going to be a trade for me, obviously. I've never done the Legend thing, the legacy game, and I own one, and it's not been played yet. And
which one do you own?
That's the legacy version of that dystopian game that you say is dystopian.
It's a Wonderful World.
It's a Wonderful World, not dystopian at all. Yeah. It is a wonderful world.
No, dystopian.
And I still have not. I think that was like the death knell in playing that game. I don't know if I've played that game since I bought the legacy version. So
it's the big box treatment.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Once you eventually get
too far
big,
in, then
it's
breaking all that out. So it would be a trade for me for my city.
I'll play It's a Wonderful World.
I
didn't know you have it.
We got to do it. We got to do that, definitely. All right. Next up for me is Aquatica.
That's my next one too.
Nice. Awesome. Aquatica. How about that? Crossover. And so Aquatica, we played for the show, so make sure you go back and see our episodes just a couple episodes ago where we talked about Aquatica with Joe Bragg was on the show. It was the episode with Joe Bragg. So it revived my love for the game when we had to play it for the show. I'm like, I really like Aquatica, and I hadn't played the expansion yet since I'd gotten that, and the expansion was a big hit with everybody. So yeah, Aquatica is definitely a shelf. That's one I'm going to keep and keep playing for a while.
Cool. Yeah, it's a play for me. I'll play it anytime it's brought out. I don't feel the need to own it. I'm not going to go the It's a Wonderful World route where I loved it so much. Even though John had it, I bought it, never played it, so I finally traded it.
There you go.
But so Aquatica could end up in my collection if John ever got rid of it. But at this point, just a play. It's a play.
Cool.
So
I'll take that.
Yeah. All right. My next one is a classic. For me.
Yeah.
This is one of my originals. Most people never played it until finally Ryan and Laura Evans found it, and they love it. This game is called Lords of Xidit. Have you played Lords of Xidit?
Not played Lords of Xidit.
It is a programming game.
But I'm already yawning.
Oh, whatever.
Just by the name.
What? No, it's actually from the same world that brought you Season, so it's that same beautiful art, and it's a programmed venture game where you are, every round, you are going to say, I'm going to move to the blue, then I'm going to fight, then I'm going to move to the black, and then I'm going to recruit. And you have to follow this program. So you're watching what everybody else is doing, and you're trying to anticipate what they're doing. Because if they're going to fight the same monster that I want to fight, then I may think, well, they're going to get there first, so I need to go left when they go right. So you're one of my favorite things in games is trying to figure out what the other opponent is thinking about, and then trying to adapt to that.
Yeah.
This game is a blast. I love it. The other part about it that is different is the end game scoring. So there's 3 ways, conditions you're getting. You're trying to get the most gold, the most points in a territory, and the most houses out on the board. Well, the thing is, if it was that order, the houses on the board is what's going to win you the game. If you have the most houses on the board, you win the game. But if you have the least gold, you got eliminated before you even get to score the houses.
Oh, so it's one of those things where everybody counts their gold first, and then
if John has the most gold, but he only has 3 houses, I'm like, oh, I got him beat, but I had the less gold, and I have 10 houses, and I'm like, oh, I just got eliminated. Yep. So now John just wins with his 3 houses.
Yep.
So really cool game, really clever game. I would want to see that mechanic in other games.
That is a cool mechanic.
Yeah,
I like that.
See, you'd like this game.
I think that was a play for me, definitely.
Okay,
good. That didn't sound good at first, but it has a couple elements in it I like.
Dude, you got to give me more than 2 seconds.
The name had me running out the door. But yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I do a play on that one.
Okay,
How long does it take?
Probably an hour.
Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely in there. Yeah. My next one is another one we had featured on our show.
Okay.
Which is Power Grid.
Ooh.
And that was, man, I hate to say what I think of Power Grid because we played it with a good friend of mine. Game designer Matt Saunders was kind enough to bring it over and teach it to a group of 6 people. And we got it played, I'm thinking with the teach, it was only a little over 2 hours.
Wow,
and that's not too
impressive.
bad. So, but, it would probably be a play for me because I think I need to give it another try.
Okay.
Chris is insisting that we play on the worst board. You can't play on it, but it's the American board. How can you not play on the American board?
Yeah, America.
So, exactly. So, I would give it another try on another board. It's not a bad game. I wouldn't say it's a bad game. It's just showing its age is what I thought as I was playing it. But it's probably very high up in your regards.
Yes, this is a shelf. It's probably a top 10 game of mine.
Yeah.
I love it. The auction on it is great. The tightness of the area control is great. Every decision you make seems very powerful, and it's simple actions. A lot of depth, but simple actions. That's the sweet spot.
True.
It's a sweet spot game. And you say shows its age. I think it shows its refined agelessness.
Ooh, there we go. Like a fine wine.
That's right. That's right. All right. I think you were in on this game, John, but it was Winner's Circle.
Yes.
That we played that when I got out of the hospital.
Yeah, that's right. It was the day after Daniel got out from his surgery.
And if you have been following along, we delayed our recording because we decided that I could not record yet because of this game. I laughed so hard that I literally thought I was going to die.
Oh, my God.
And it was so much pain here. And I was like, guys, I can't record because if I laugh or get energetic, I'm going to like burst my abdomen back open. So Winner's Circle was a hard trade. I am sorry, Chris.
Oh.
This game was not fun.
What?
This was the most random fest game I have ever played. You're just betting on these horses. You roll the dice. I think John was the one that was the most upset about it.
Yeah, let me get. I'll explain.
Okay, I will. So you roll the dice, and you're just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna let the red horse move because he moves the best, and I had voted on the red horse.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I don't know. I don't get it. I get like in that night I had a blast playing it. It was great company. Bad game because
there you go.
Because I was like having a lot of fun, but I was like, man, I haven't made a meaningful decision all night. So it is a trade. But John, you go in with it.
Just to exemplify the meaninglessness of the decision was on the final round. I've gotten like $2 the entire game, so I'm not going to win. I mean, people are getting like $400 in a round at some time. I'm like, okay, I'm flipping over randomly these different colored horses. That's the one I'm going to bet on. Boom.
Yeah.
And then randomly, you have different tiles like for different amounts, and one of them is you want it to not win.
Yeah.
And I did it completely blind. I don't know what it is. I'm taking the first one, it's going on that horse. Next one's going on that horse. And I did all my rolls the same way.
Yeah.
I'm always taking that one. And I did the best I did the whole game. I think I won like $300, $400 the last round.
Nice.
There we go. I'm like, it was fun. We had fun playing it.
Yes.
It's a trade. It's definitely a trade. It's an activity. It's not a game. I will say that about it. But it was fun.
That is right. So, all right, you want to go
that's
next
right.
one?
That's
That was
me
technically
next.
mine, even though we both played it.
That was another crossover.
Woo!
Okay, let me get to my.
Look at this.
What happened to my? We have to pause this. There we go. It was on overview. All right. Oh, nice. I got a good one next.
All right.
This was on New Year's Day. Age of Comics: The Golden Years. I played that without you. How about that?
Did I get it played that month?
I don't know.
I did not get it played that
about
month.
that?
I did get it played, but
Age
not that
of
month.
Comics: The Golden Years, and this one I was surprised to find. I watched a review on it since, because sometimes I like to watch reviews on a game that I've played just to see are they going to say something different about the game that I didn't notice, or are they going to say some rule that I'd played wrong?
You got to know if you like it or not.
And it was I have to find out if I like it. Apparently I don't like it because I gave it a 6.5. I'm not even going to say who it was, and I was like, a 6.5? The cover is better than a 6.5.
Right.
I mean, you're already enjoying it more than a 6.5. Maybe you have to be into comics. That's what I'm wondering, is maybe you have to be into comics to like this game. But if you are, just to the nth degree, you're going to love Age of Comics. I've had a blast with it, my 2-3 plays that I've had of it so far. And you're literally creating comics. You're hiring your staff. You're getting an idea for a comic. You're putting out an actual little comic book cover on your board. It's so cool. There's nothing about it I don't like. So Age of Comics is definitely, I guess that would be, if I owned it, it would be a shelf, because I would not want to get rid of it, and I'd want to play it all the time. So
well, I do own it, so
Yes,
it is
you
a
do.
shelf.
Bragger.
But I'm not a big fan of comic books.
No,
though,
not at
so
all.
I'm definitely an exception
Not at
to that. Okay.
You can just appreciate it for its aesthetics.
Exactly.
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
Nothing at that at all. Totally biased. All right.
Oh, so it's a shelf.
It's a shelf.
It's a shelf for
It's
you
a
because
shelf
it's
on
on
my
your
shelf,
shelf.
and
Okay.
I liked
Just
it. It was
making sure.
really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, next one I have is Aeons End. This is one of Randy's favorite games, and we've been playing it a lot. Aeons End is a cooperative game where you are trying to deck build a little bit. Our friend Ryan Evans loves this game though, because you don't have to shuffle your cards.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. When you buy it goes into your discard pile, and then when you're done playing, it goes to your discard pile. You get to order them how you want, and then when you're done, you flip it over. and you go again. So
Yeah,
you can kind of
that's
set
it.
yourself up for really cool combos. But the game is really challenging. You're fighting a big bad, and you have essentially like 2 to 4 breaches of what they're called, and that's where you get to slot your spells that you're going to cast. And when it comes to your turn, you can expend those spells if you want. Sometimes you want to keep them because like other spells will trigger because there's more things that are open. So there's this. It's a really fun. It's from the same company that brought Sentinels of the Multiverse. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's some similarities there. At least the feel of it, like how there's one guy versus many. But yeah, this is a play for me. I don't need to own it. Even if Randy didn't have it, I probably wouldn't ask to play it again. But it's one that when Randy asks for, as long as there's nothing more Euro-y out there that I could get into, I'll play that one.
Gotcha.
So it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually saw people playing it the other night
Yeah.
and asked Randy about it. He's like, yeah, I really want to get this game played. And then when he started saying co-op, I almost quit listening. But then he did mention the cool thing about how you can set your discard deck and then you just flop it over. You don't shuffle your discard deck. And so that's that's unique. If it wasn't co-op, I'd be all in. But I do think I need it. It doesn't take very long either, does it? It didn't seem like they were playing it very long.
No, it's one of those where it depends. If you win, it could go longer. If you lose, it can go quicker.
Okay.
But it's still
they
not
won,
super
and I didn't
long,
think
though.
it played too long.
Yeah, it's not the longest.
But that's something I would probably give a try. I'd give it a play
Okay.
at like a con or something where I had a lot of time to kill. But
Gotcha.
didn't
Well,
kill
there you
what I
go.
got played.
So play for both of us.
It's a
That's
play
cool.
for both of us, yes.
All
My next one is Empire's End, which might be one that we talk about on an upcoming show. So maybe I don't want to take too much, get too much on the table about it. But Empire's End would you consider it a card game? That's one
Yeah.
thing I want to talk about.
It's a
Do you
card
consider it
game.
a card game? Because
Yeah.
there is a board.
Sure.
But you've got tiles.
Yeah.
I mean, not cards. You have tiles that
Yeah.
represent all the different parts of your kingdom, and you are going to have to trash a lot of them. And so it's one of those things where whenever you trash something, you get something else to put to make another location stronger, and you also have things that you can buy certain times of the game to make other locations stronger as well. And so there's just different rounds that different things happen. Most of the rounds are something's getting trashed, and you're going to have to bid with different resources that you have hidden behind your screen.
Yeah.
And it's what no thanks
No
type
thanks
of a thing.
style, yeah.
Where you're paying to not take the
disaster that's going to
but-
destroy you.
But you might want the effect that the disaster gives you, so maybe it doesn't matter to you. Maybe it's a different part of your kingdom that's being destroyed. So it's on my shelf, so I'm going to say shelf for now until we have a deeper discussion about it on the show.
Well,
but I'm interested to hear what you think about Empire's End. Or
At this point, I'll just say it's a play. I kind of want to play it again. It wasn't miserable. I don't know if I was like, I don't know if I was like, woo.
Yeah.
But maybe one more play will solidify it for
Okay.
me and know which direction it's going.
All right,
but
cool.
stay tuned for
Yes,
a more in
yes.
detailed look at
Empire's End.
That's right. All right. So my next game is Hamburg. This is a retheme of Bruges, Stefan Fell's Bruges, and this game is wonderful. You're just gathering. It's a card game. You're just gathering cards.
Really?
And there's like different ways you can play the cards. You can play it as like a foundation. You can discard it. I think there's reasons you discard it. I forgot exactly why now, but you can discard it for something, and then you can also play it as like the character and the ability that you're getting from it. Also, as you're doing this, it's manipulating a couple items on the board, like 5 different regions where you're trying to build a wall, or you're trying to ship goods, or you're trying to go up on the prestige track.
Gotcha.
So this game, I loved it, but this is the Queen game version of it, the City Collection, and I have a major beef with this, and that is with Hamburg. It came with cards with nothing but iconography. Guys, there are like hundreds of different cards with different effects. This game is unfreaking playable.
Really?
As is. Fortunately, our friend Dan Abel brought his copy as well, so we got to play with his upgraded cards that had text on it.
Oh my gosh.
I can't find these cards out in the wild to buy. So I'm like, I don't know if I can play my copy.
Oh,
I
my
love this
word.
game. It's really great. It was a beautiful re-implementation of Bruges, but completely unplayable.
What?
Yeah.
So you'd have to memorize all the different icons.
Yes.
Basically. And
Yeah, if you know the
there's a lot of
game.
them?
Yeah, there's a lot. And if you know the game, you're fine. But if you don't, oh my gosh, you have to keep a book in front of you and go,
Yeah.
okay, what does this card do? Okay,
Oh,
that.
my gosh.
What does this card do? Okay, that. And then the next turn, you're like, I forgot what my cards did. Let me look
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
That, because they're not even intuitive.
Oh, really?
it
It's
is
not
a
like you can
hot
say,
mess.
oh, the thing where it's placing a card down, I play a card. No, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not something easy like that.
I mean, there's some of that, but there's
Yeah.
so many that there's some that are just completely,
Oh, my gosh.
So, it's a shelf. 1, it's a beautiful game. 2, if I find the right cards, I want to keep it forever. But if it wasn't, I would have to trade it because I'm never
Yeah.
going to play the game the way in its current status.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. Well, you've convinced me. It's a trade for me.
Okay, good.
I think it was going in anyway.
Yeah, there wasn't much hope.
All right, and my next up was Winner's Circle, but we've already discussed that.
Okay.
That would be a trade. Oh, and then Mycelia. I played this on New Year's Day.
I don't even know what you just said.
Mycelia.
That's what I thought you said.
You're breaking my heart. No, Mycelia is apparently is that another name for mushrooms? I think, and so it's a really cool game. This is one I'm gonna. I don't own it, so it's one I might be looking for in the wild somewhere. But it's where it's really cool. It's basically a race to clear your board of spores, I think is what they are.
Okay.
You put these little things on your board and you're trying to get them up to this area that allows you to get rid of them, and you might have other cards that you can get. It's a little bit of a deck builder.
Okay.
There's other cards you can get that allow you to get rid of them in other ways. Like if you line up some of them like this, you can get rid of 3 of them. Or if you line up, whatever, or you can do this, you can move another one 5 or something like that to get it closer to the thing where you get rid of it. And it's got this really cool thing in the middle where you're filling them up, the ones that you get rid of there. And then when you fill up a certain spot, depending on how many players there are, you spin it around, and it dumps them all out like a dice tower, along with the dice. And the dice that comes out shows where you have to put however many for that round. So you have to put a few more back on your board in those spots. And so it's pretty cool. And then you keep going until somebody can get rid of all of their spores. And so it's not a real long game, but it's a fun little deck builder. It'd be a good way to teach somebody deck building, really, because it's kind of cool. You get the cards out there in the market that you can purchase. I liked it. It's a play for me. Until I play it again, and it's a possible shelf in the future.
Okay, yeah, I'll say play. That was a roller coaster of an explanation.
It was, wasn't it?
You said Marcel's and whatever, and I was like, nah. And he's like, a deck builder. I'm like, I don't need a deck builder. And then as you went, you're like, it's kind of puzzly. 3 in a row, you get to do that. And I'm like, okay. And then you're like, something spins, or you got discard. And I was like, and you're like, something spins. I'm like, woo!
Yeah, the spins is what gets you.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Okay, cool.
All right, my next one is a game we reviewed on the show before, so I won't get into detail, but Ark Nova. It's definitely a shelf for me. Ark Nova is a tableau builder. You're getting animals into your zoo. I love everything about this game. I played this one with my wife. She thought it was too long, so unfortunately I probably won't get to play with her again. But I just really enjoy the experience of Ark Nova. It's so thinky. It's so puzzly. I love how your actions selection is based on these 5 cards that kind of move down, and the further they get, the more powerful the action is. I love that balancing of using those abilities, and building up your animal farm is just wonderful.
Yeah.
So
it's a play for me. I hesitate to call it a shelf just because I don't like the scoring. I hate the crossing tracks, as I've said before.
I love it. It's so unique. It feels so different.
I hate it doesn't feel unique. It feels annoying.
Whatever.
And so if for a game that long, you shouldn't end with crossing tracks. I just don't like that at all. What I do like is but what saves it for me, like you're saying, is how the actions get more powerful when you don't use them. So
such a clever idea.
Because so much of the time it can either be, well, the rest of this round I can't really accomplish what I want to accomplish, but I'm going to take this action that's really powerful because I'm going to need, whatever in the future anyway. And now I can get the best out of it. Now the rest of them will be more powerful, and I'll need those next round. Because sometimes some of your choices are taken away just for that round, where you're like, I'm not going to get that association, or I'm not going to get that. For my goals to get this animal out there. So I love that that's an option, because then otherwise you'd be like, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything I want to do. So now it's like, oh, well, I can do this really cool, powerful action. I can put a really big thing out there that I'm going to need for somebody. Yeah. So, or whatever. They all have different.
Yeah, it's a game where you are doing forward planning in your head.
Yeah, so you have to plan forward anyway.
So I want these 3 things. I don't necessarily need them in an order. Sometimes you do, but not always. Yeah. So
it's a play for me. I've always enjoyed my plays of it. I just there's issues I have with it.
All right.
See, that was yours, wasn't it?
That was mine.
Well, then what's mine? Mine is going to be Mountain Goats, an all-play game.
Oh, okay.
One of our fun little associates, all-play. Mountain Goats, I played at a big game event one time, and that might be a shelf for me, because and I played it with the expansion, and I don't know if I'd like it without the expansion. Do you own Mountain Goats?
I don't.
What you're just looking at?
No, I was going to point out my all-play shelf.
Oh, okay.
It's like right here behind you. I have a lot of all-play games.
This is one of the little square box games.
Yeah, okay.
Mountain Goats is, and it's I can't really remember. It's not really a race. It is a race, like individually, like throughout the game to get to the top of the mountain, because you're mountain goats to get to the top of the mountains, and so, it's like you make decisions what to do with your dice numbers and stuff like that. So it plays pretty quick. Yeah. And it's some fun little decisions to make. I think having the expansion makes the decisions more crucial and more meaningful. So I think I would only want to play it with that, but it's definitely a play for me.
Okay, yeah, it's going to play for me too. I'll play. I won't pass up any of their games at this point. We kind of know Joe. He's in our backyard. He's been on our show. He runs all play.
COO.
Yeah, there you go. And I trust his taste in games. If he thinks it's worth being published, then it's worth playing for sure.
Yeah.
Not every game's for everybody. So sometimes you might get something and go, that's not for me. But
Yeah.
like you can see the quality in it. So yeah, I love all play games. So yeah, Mountain Goats, I'll play it.
Cool.
For sure. All right, mine is Oath.
Ooh,
The good old Oath.
You played Oath.
I did. I got to play it with our normal game group, the Evans and Chris, and I think Randy was involved too.
Wow.
Guys, like, I'm so disappointed. I wanted to like Oath a lot. I just don't see. I don't see it. I just don't see it. It's this area control game, and what's unique about Oath is you have your own personal tableau, but you have area control as well. And when you control an area, you also control the cards that are on those areas. So like you have this extended tableau. And then wherever your guy is, you also can use that as well. So you have a movable tableau and a tableau that's being fought over. Really great concept. The biggest problem with this game, though, is that it is king making in spades, and it is supposed to be played over a series of games to make it better. So it's like if this time maybe I make a decision to let John win, I'll say, hey, remember that next time, because next time he'll be the emperor. He'll have different powers, and I could kind of levy myself like, hey, remember when I helped you win last time?
Yeah.
You kind of owe me for this. It becomes a negotiation, but it becomes a negotiation over a long chronicled history. And like in the end, there wasn't enough there for any of us to really say, we want to play this again happily. We all said we'll play it again because we want to see what's there, because we didn't see what's there. So honestly, it's a trade, and it will probably go in the auction, but somebody already put it in the auction, so I don't want to compete.
Double down. Yeah. It's a trade for me going in, and even more so after hearing your description.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. It's hard to learn as root and stuff like that? Like, is there
it's easier to learn than roots.
At least it's easier to learn.
But it is weird. Also, this is the game I played right before I went to the hospital, and it was down by far the worst teach ever, to the point where we got one turn in, and I go, guys, I got to go home. I can't survive this, and I don't know what I'm doing. That was my first extent that I needed to go to the hospital. Where was that?
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah.
In a way. All right. My next one up is Four Corners, which is a game that we actually got at our family. Our family at Christmas time, we get together now on New Year's Eve, and for my extended family, and we have a white elephant game giveaway.
Okay.
And so you wrap a game and put it in the gift, and in the gift exchange, and that's one that we got from that, and it's a decent game. It's a very abstract game where you're trying to make all the little things line up and make it like an image. You know what I'm saying? Like a little pattern. Okay. And they all look like basically tile patterns you'd see on a floor or something like that. And so, it's a little too abstract for me to really love it. I would play it again. It's it's not one I'm excited about, but it's like I'd play it with people that are willing to play a game, because it's easy to teach. So.
Yeah, in our rating system, I'll say a trade, but truthfully, it sounds like it's inoffensive enough that I would give it a try if somebody had it there, but I'm not going to seek it out. So
there's nothing special about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
Sure.
I'll just trade it then. That's fine. All right. Mine is next one is Radlands, and this one I got to play.
That played.
I did actually. I skipped to my next one, so I'll get to that one later.
Okay.
No, man, I'll do Radlands. Whatever. Radlands.
Yes, do Radlands.
I got to play with Chris. Me and Chris had a day. His wife was out of town, so he kind of just hung out with me on that day. Our kids hung out together after my surgery, so he was kind of like, "Hey, I'll hang out with you." Okay. John almost did, but I left the hospital and I didn't tell him, so he almost came to the hospital with a pile of board games.
There you go.
Which would have been funny. I would have felt bad. Funny, but felt bad. But Radlands is a 2-player game only. It resembles like a Magic the Gathering type of game. That's what I was thinking. But what's really cool about it is, it's not collectible at all. It's completely contained. But you are all working out of the same deck of cards. So if I draw 3 cards, I'm drawing out of this deck. If John draws,
so you don't have your own deck that you're drawing out of. It's
exactly.
Like a community deck. Gotcha.
And it's a snappy game. You have 3 bases that you're trying to destroy of your opponents. You have 2 rows where you can put people at who are defending your bases, but you have ways to jump over them potentially to hit the bases, or you just got to kill them fast. What's really cool, there's a balancing mechanic here of when you have a 3-cost card, which is one of the most expensive. Actually, 4 cost is the most expensive, and you only get 3 resources, so it has to be good. Yeah. Well, I get out my 4 cost there. Well, now John immediately gets to respond, so he can damage my guy right away. Yeah. So you always have this balance of I can do this really powerful thing, but I got to play it at the right time, or else he's just going to take care of it, and I can't do anything. Also, you can discard cards to also take abilities as well, so it's a multi-use card game. And then also all the cards can be punks, which are displayed face down, and they're just blockers backers essentially.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of really fun things about it. The presentation of this game, the packaging is brilliant. I got the Kickstarter edition, and it's only this big, and it comes with 2 mats in the box and the cards in the little deck box. Beautiful production. It's not an atrocious game to see on your shelf, even though it's Kickstarter. But yeah, this is a shelf game. I love it. I'll play with anybody who wants to play.
Okay. Yeah, I remember there was a huge. I mean, this was a lot of fanfare when this came out on Kickstarter. Like what, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And it looks really cool, and it plays quick. It's a play for me. I got to try it one time. It's not my type of game typically. The 1v1 card battle kind of a game just isn't really, especially with a theme that's just made up. I mean, everything
post-apocalyptic,
pretty much, but I mean, but it's not. It's better than some themes. So yeah, Aeons End. That's one of the things that gets me on that. Oh, you're throwing casting spells.
Yeah, that Aeons End's so generic.
A little too fantasy kind of for me. Whereas this sounds like it'd be a little more meat on the bones. Might be kind of fun to play. So yeah, I would definitely play it.
Well, and your 2 favorite from the Dice Tower love it: Z Garcia and Camilla.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So
really,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Oh yeah, they both like it a lot.
That's funny. I wouldn't have thought that. All right, I think the last one I have for January is a good one, Apiary. Which
I have that one too.
Yeah, there we go.
Because we reviewed over the show. Hey!
Yes, if you want to see a huge review of that, or a huge review, but huge discussion about the pros and cons of Apiary.
A lot of cons.
Wow. I love Apiary, and it would be a shelf if I owned it, because that one's good. I think there's a lot of depth in it. I think there just seems to be a lot of different ways you can try to win too. I mean, the first time I played, why would anybody ever plant cards was my thing. Why would you ever plant cards? And then by the third time I played, I'm like, ooh, I could plant cards, and it's going to be more efficient for me than getting honey and trying to do all this to get those points, and I can get points this way. And so there's just different ways you can take it. And I really like that about it. So yeah, Apiary would be a shelf for me. I'm gonna call it a shelf.
I almost got it played again. That's why it's out right there. And I tried to play it with my sister yesterday, but she shot me down. She likes Wingspan a lot, so I said, "Hey, do you want to play a game that comes from the people that brought you Wingspan?"
Yes.
And she's like, "No, I want to play something a lot lighter." So
okay.
But no, I think it's a trade. I still don't know.
Okay, we'll
like,
work something out.
Yeah, I'm about to say, honestly, if you do want it, talk to me,
we'll
because that's definitely something I would be willing to part with.
All right.
I just don't know how willing. I'm like,
I gotcha.
I'm torn on it. All right, so my next one is Mindbug First Encounter. This is another 2-player card game that me and Chris played. This game was bonkers. Okay, this is a game where you have a big deck of cards, about that big, and John takes 10 and I take 10. And then you draw 5 cards, and then we have 5 cards. And we are just playing this card. And if I play a 5 and it says kill anything that's 3 or less, it does it. And John dies because he had his card at 3 or less. Very basic.
Oh, like in your hand even?
No, in play. And you're just trying to do 3 damage to each other. So if you don't have anything, maybe I have something that says do 1 damage. And you're just like, bam, take a damage. Okay.
I gotcha.
That's it. That's the game.
Okay.
Why is that fun? Because of the Mind Bug. You get 2 Mind Bugs in this game. And what the Mind Bug is... Oh, John, you just played a game that says everybody who plays a 3 or less is dead? I'm going to steal that from you. There's my Mind Bug.
Oh, you can just steal it.
You can just steal it. So now you have to decide, like, oh, this is really good, but I can't let Daniel have this. So maybe
you don't play it.
Yeah, you don't play it, or you kind of coax them by playing this other card that seems really powerful, but you have no synergy with it, and I take that, and I'm like, now I'm gonna play this card that kills all your people. That one little twist makes this game just really, really good. So yeah, it's a shelf, and I want to buy all the expansions now too. So
wow, okay, yeah, that's got to be a play for me.
Okay.
That's
good.
Yeah, that's the best I can do.
That's 2 plays on a one-on-one card.
I know, and that's not even me.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck. I mean, I say play. Good luck if it ever happens.
Yeah, we know the truth. All right. Well, actually, and then the other 2 I have, I had Apiary, but we already talked about that, and then I have Marvel Champions and Marvel United. I've talked a lot about those games, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But those are also my most played games of the month as well. I love my Marvel games, and it's so weird because it's like Marvel United and Marvel Champions and Marvel Legendaries. Are they good games? Honestly, I'm not going to tell you that they're good games.
Yeah.
But I love them. And I don't know if it's the theme or if it's a good game or what it is. I think Marvel Champions, I would go on a limb and say it's a good game. But Marvel United is very simple, but like so puzzly. It's exciting. It's fun. Ryan Evans, who knows nothing about Marvel Universe, nothing at all.
Oh, really?
Nothing.
And he likes it?
He liked it.
Okay.
And I was like, all right. He even told me to bring it over and play it. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Well, those are our played games in January.
Yes.
tell us some of the games you played. Tell us which ones that we got wrong, which ones you were
Yes,
like, oh,
definitely
that's
say
horrible.
that.
How did you like
Yeah,
that?
definitely
Or-
give us your opinions on these games if you've played them or even if you've heard of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's all we have. We'll come back here soon with our February. But for now, we'll see you around the board.
Or across the board.
See you across the board.